If you're someone who struggles with shyness, if you're somebody who shows up in the world nervous or anxious most of the time, especially in social situations, believe me, I've definitely been there. And I'll be honest, I still sometimes struggle with this deep, inherent shyness that exists inside of me. And I've had it most of my life. I remember the first day of school when I was just 5 years old in grade primary. I remember going to school and being just shocked at how shy I was and thinking to myself, wow, how am I going to actually engage and interact with other people? I have no idea what to say. I have no idea how to reach out. I have no idea how to get someone to be my friend. Growing up, my parents, they struggled with addiction and alcohol abuse, and they even sold drugs for a little bit when I was a kid. So I didn't get to make a lot of friendships as a kid. We were moving around all of the time. I went to lots of different schools, moved all around Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and then when I moved to New Glasgow, we moved all around there as well. I went to lots of different schools as a kid, and I never developed the habits or the skills to be great at socializing. And so as a result, I was just incredibly shy. I never even went to a high school dance until my prom, and even then, I only went for about 20 minutes. I never danced with a girl until I was in my 20s. I never asked a girl out on a date until I was an adult. I struggled with shyness most of my life. But I can honestly say that I've gotten to a point where I can literally go anywhere in the world and create new friendships. Even if I don't speak a person's language, I've learned how to connect with people in such a way that I create space for them to open up and be vulnerable, which also gives me the space to be vulnerable too. And so I wanted to record this video to talk about how I've been able to overcome my shyness. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily going to work for you. I'm not saying that what I've done is necessarily going to be the path that you need to take, but I just hope that my story, if nothing else, can inspire you to know that it's possible. If you're an incredibly shy person, if you struggle to even show up at social events, let alone engage with people when you get there, or if you're the kind of person that just thinks to yourself, I have no idea how I'm ever going to get to a place where I feel comfortable socially, then this video is definitely for you. And so there are 3 things overall that I've done that have helped me get to a point where I can overcome my shyness. And the first thing I've done is to learn to love myself. And when I say love myself, I don't necessarily mean just saying, I love you, although that's great too. I mean investing in myself, taking time to learn new skills, taking time to love my body, taking time to practice exercise, meditation, stretching, things that show me that I love myself. The more I feel that I love myself, the more likely I'm to feel that other people love me too, or at least the more open-minded I will be to consider that being a possibility. Shyness, in my opinion, is a combination of things. It's insecurity, it's a lack of skills, it's a lack of self-esteem and belief in myself. And so for me, the first step to overcoming my shyness has been to practice loving myself. Again, for me, that was through martial arts. It was through learning music. I got to a point as a kid where I got really great at guitar and really great at martial arts, and loving myself in those ways by letting myself develop skills and habits that were conducive to me loving myself, that gave me more self-esteem. And as a result, I became more sociable and more confident in my social situations. And that leads me to the second thing I've done to overcome my shyness, and that's to live a life of purpose and passion and do things that I'm passionate about. Now, I don't know about you, but I learned that the things I'm really passionate about are usually the things that feel edgy for me. They're usually the things I'm a little bit scared to do. For example, in my coaching work, when I coach somebody I'm not excited to coach, I don't feel passionate. But when I'm reaching out to somebody that I'm a little nervous of, I'm a little intimidated by, or somebody I kind of look up to, that makes me feel a little more passionate. But that also means it's a little scarier. So following my passion means that I'm leaning into my edge, I'm expanding my comfort zone. A coach I respect very much says, all we need to do is expand our comfort zone just by 4%. If we just expand our comfort zone by 4%, we're going to create a life that's fulfilling and passionate and exciting and purposeful. Just 4%. And this guy coaches some of the best athletes, presidential candidates, and high performers in the world. And he says, all you have to do is expand yourself by 4%. So step 1 of overcoming my shyness is practicing things that help me love myself more. And step 2 is living a life of purpose and passion. It's living a life that lights me up. Because when I'm living a life that lights me up, I'm existing and operating at a much higher level mentally, physiologically, psychologically, emotionally, and all other ways, spiritually. When I'm doing things I'm passionate about, I forget about my insecurities. I forget about the things I don't love about myself, and I become completely engulfed and enamored by the thing that I'm doing. So step 1 for overcoming my shyness has been to love myself. And step 2 has been to find my passion and live a life of purpose. Step 3, which maybe should have been step 1, is to actually develop social skills. I'm going to be completely transparent with you all here. I've read books on how to date people. I've read books on how to talk to strangers. I've read books on how to talk to a person I want to date and what to say. I have literally installed the software into my mind to learn how to socialize. Like I said earlier in the video, my parents were very shy. They were drug addicts and drug dealers for most of my younger years. A lot has changed since then. My parents have become much different people in many ways, but they didn't have social skills, or at least not healthy ones, that I knew growing up. Most of the social skills that I was exposed to had to do with using heavy drugs or alcohol and showing up and numbing myself so that I'm not afraid to socialize. I didn't want to live that life anymore. I wanted to live a life where I could socialize without alcohol, where I could socialize without drugs, where I could socialize without some kind of crutch. And so naturally, I had to develop social skills. And there are a few different ways that I've done that. One of them is a really powerful practice called authentic relating games. You may have seen me post about them before. Authentic relating games are this incredible way to socialize with people you've never met in a really short period of time where you're going very deep with them. You're learning lots about them and they're learning lots about you. I first experienced authentic relating games in October of 2018. And then in October of 2019, I experienced them again in California just this past October. And I've since brought them to Canada, and I've played them with dozens of people all over the country, and in some cases all over North America, online and in person. Another way that I've been able to develop social skills is through deep coaching. Being coached around my childhood insecurities and the things from my past that I haven't healed yet. If I have deep core beliefs that I'm not good enough, that I'm not worthy of love, or that I just don't know how to socialize, then those subconscious programs are going to manipulate me and they're going to hold me back from actually overcoming my shyness. So step 1 is learning to love myself and do that as a practice. And step 2 is living a life of purpose and passion. Then finally, step 3 is actually developing social skills and practicing socializing. As a kid, I grew up in martial arts. And the way martial arts worked is we would show up to class once or twice a week and we would learn new skills and we would practice them with other people who were doing the same thing. And that's exactly what we need to do with socializing and overcoming shyness. Growing up, I've had lots of people around me who were also shy and needed to socialize. They wanted to overcome their shyness too. And so we would practice games. We would practice socializing games. We would practice walking up to strangers. We'd practice talking to new people. We'd even talk to each other about what we'll say when we walk up to that person we don't know. Now, this has become an unconscious habit for me now. I don't have to rehearse quite as much as I used to, but those habits are now ingrained. I had to start there. So if you're somebody who's shy and you're having a hard time socializing in your life, or you're not connecting, or maybe your need for connection and community is just not being met, let me tell you, I get it. I've been there, and you can overcome it. We're not just shy people. Our personality is not permanent. We can transform our personality by doing the deep work to transform it. And for me, that was broken down into 3 steps. 1, learn to love myself. Do things that make me feel like I love myself. Exercise, meditation, yoga, eating well, practicing new skills, etc. Number 2, live a life that's purposeful and passionate. Do things that light me up and that I get excited about. And then finally, 3, I have to practice developing social skills. I have to develop the skills and then practice them in circumstances where I don't feel like I'm in danger. If you're somebody who's still overcoming your shyness and you struggle with socializing, again, I get it. I've been there. That's why I started my organization, The Tribe. We're a social enterprise and we create space for people to discover and become their most authentic selves. We're a whole group of people that some are shy, some are socially anxious, some are rock stars, some are superhuman, and some of them are all of those things combined into one person. If you check out the link in the description, you can join the tribe. It looks just like Facebook, except without the drama and the ads. And we have a whole bunch of different games and activities where you can practice socializing. And our basic membership's absolutely free. You're not going to be upsold. We're not going to pressure you to buy anything. And in fact, we even have authentic relating games once a month, free for members. So you can check out the link in the description to find out more. Again, if you're somebody who struggles with shyness, let me tell you, you're not alone, but we don't have to live that way forever. We can overcome our shyness. We can let our rock star selves shine, and we can really become superhuman in our social relationships. So if you're struggling, just again, remember, it's possible. You can do it. And if I did it, believe me, you can do it too. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with somebody you think could benefit.